The movie starts in a bar where Ray King is waiting for Anais. After a few minutes, a group of killers shows up outside. One of them, named Cobb, gets a call from someone named Burke about a report, but Cobb ignores it and starts setting up a sniper rifle. Anais arrives and meets King inside the bar. King shows her a picture of her and a boy named Alberto. Anais doesn't recognize the photo and assumes King wants her to kill the boy. She tells him she won't kill a kid. King explains that he's not asking her to do that. He was hired to find the boy and needs her help. He then asks her about a serious medical condition, but she says she doesn't know anything about it. She also warns him that there's a gang outside and they're there to kill both of them. King notices one of the gang members coming in and runs to the restroom. He ends up trapped, and the gang members follow him inside. Realizing he's cornered, King writes something on his hand and then fights back, managing to kill two of the attackers. While this is happening, Anais leaves through the front door. Cobb sees her but doesn't get a chance to shoot. A little later, King comes out of the restroom and sees several dead bodies. He realizes Anais killed the rest of the gang. King walks out the front door. Cobb sees him and takes the shot, killing King instantly. The next day, Director Medina is in her office when she gets a call from an officer informing her about Ray King's death. She quickly heads to the hospital. Once there, she looks at King's body and asks the officer why they contacted her. The officer explains that she was listed as his emergency contact, so they had to inform her. He then shows her a message written on King's hand: "Find the accountant." Meanwhile, in Idaho, Christian Wolf is in his trailer, getting ready for the Boise Romance Festival. He's talking to Justine, who updates him about recent payments from clients for his work. Later, at the festival, a few women start looking for Christian, and soon gather around his desk. The event organizers notice the crowd and question him. Christian explains that he adjusted the algorithm on his profile to make himself look taller and appear with a better smile, traits that many women are drawn to. But as conversations begin, the women start leaving one by one, put off by Christian's blunt and overly honest answers. By the end of the event, he's sitting alone at his table. Meanwhile, Director Medina visits the house where Ray King had been living for the past 2 years. Inside, she searches through his belongings and finds a card with Christian Wolf's name on it. Wanting to dig deeper, she decides to rent the place herself. Later that night, Medina calls Harbor Neuroscience Academy to ask about Christian. The staff denies knowing anything and passes her around to a few other people. At the same time, Justine tracks Medina's phone location. Suspecting the call is being monitored, Medina casually mentions Ray King's death and ends the call. Afterward, she looks through King's files and finds a photo of Alberto's family. Meanwhile, Cobb shows up at Burke's place. Burke immediately asks why he didn't take the shot at Anais. Cobb explains that he didn't have a clear shot. Burke reveals that their real target was Anais, not King. He explains that Anais disappeared in the middle of an important deal years ago. Suddenly, Anais storms in and kills everyone around Burke, except him. She doesn't recognize Burke at all. It becomes clear that Burke had a hand in ruining her life, and now he's worried she might regain her memories. Fearing what she might remember and who she might go after, he tells Cobb to eliminate anyone who could be a threat to him. Cobb leaves immediately. Meanwhile, Medina arrives at a parking lot, the same place where everything first began. A few minutes later, Christian Wolf shows up. She tells him that she worked on his case 8 years ago and now needs his help with a new one. Back at Ray King's house, Medina shows Christian all the photos King had collected. Together, they begin reviewing and analyzing the images, trying to understand how the events connect. Meanwhile, in Texas, Cobb finds and kills Anais's father. Back at King's house, Christian continues sorting through the photos. He explains to Medina that Anais's family was deported from Central America. They traveled to Mexico City by train and eventually crossed into the United States. He points out that Anais's son, Alberto, is now at least 13 years old. Christian also reveals that Anais's real name was Edith Sanchez. She once worked at Studio's Pizza, where she was forced into human trafficking. Realizing this might be a lead, they head to Studio's Pizza and question the owner, Ike Studio. When they ask about Edith Sanchez, he denies knowing her. Christian quickly realizes he's lying and confronts him about his money laundering activities. Studio tries to warn him off, but Christian responds by breaking his hand and knocking out the security guards. In pain, Studio gives up the name of one of his contacts. Christian and Medina leave immediately. While driving away, Medina, frustrated by Christian's violent methods, tells him not to use violence again. Christian, unfazed, says they may need someone else to help with the case. He suggests calling in his brother, a highly skilled assassin, just like him. Meanwhile, in Berlin, Braxton checks into a hotel and starts preparing to ask his client if they can move the job up. When he speaks with her, he fails to convince her. That night, he decides to go ahead with the job anyway. He quickly deals with the security and meets with the target, a young woman. During their conversation, he gets a call from his brother, Christian, asking for help. Braxton refuses, clearly annoyed. Christian calls again, insisting he needs Braxton in California within 24 hours. Frustrated, Braxton ends the call and leaves soon after. The next night in California, Christian and Medina wait at a hotel for Braxton to arrive. When he shows up, Medina introduces herself. Realizing she's an agent, Braxton pulls Christian aside to talk about it and decide to do the job anyway. Later, inside the hotel, they prepare for a setup. They pay 3 women to come to the room while Medina waits outside. While they wait, Braxton teases Christian to get under his skin. When the women arrive, Braxton pays them and demands they call the person in charge. 2 of the women argue and leave, returning the money. The 3rd woman agrees to make the call in exchange for more cash. Christian gives her the extra money, and she calls the contact. While this is happening, Medina receives a phone call informing her that both Anais' father and her husband have been killed, both by sniper shots. A few minutes later, a man shows up at the hotel room, asking for the women to come back. Braxton quickly knocks him out and stuffs him into the trunk of Medina's car. Medina stops them, worried about police interference. Christian calls Justine, who reroutes traffic, changes nearby traffic lights to green, and redirects any nearby police officers, clearing a path for them to reach the safe house without being followed. Meanwhile, at Harbor Neuroscience Academy, the team prepares to track down Anais. Medina and Christian monitor the search on a laptop, while Justine connects them to the system. The team reviews security footage from the bar and spots Anais leaving. They try to get a clear image of her face from other cameras, but none provide a good angle. Then, they notice a woman taking a photo while Anais is walking in the background. Using an ID scan, they locate the woman's home and remotely access her home network. They find the photo on her laptop, email it to themselves, and then log out. Next, they run the photo through facial recognition. The system shows that Anais has been involved in several killings, but her name is still unknown. With no further leads, the call ends. Back at King's house, Medina discovers that Braxton was responsible for killing some of the people shown in King's photos. Furious, she storms out and drives away. As she's leaving, the man locked in the car trunk starts yelling. Medina stops, reverses, and tells him, "No more tips from Justine. If you contact her again, I'll have you all thrown in jail." Then she drives off. Meanwhile, Cobb is on a rooftop preparing to shoot someone across the street. Inside, a man is being questioned about a human trafficking case. Medina confronts him and offers a deal. If he gives the name of the person who trafficked Edith, they'll let him go. Batu explains that Edith had been hospitalized after an accident. Just as he's about to write the name down, Cobb takes the shot and kills him. Then Cobb quietly leaves the scene. Meanwhile, Christian discovers that a woman with no name was hospitalized after an accident, assuming it's about Anais. He requests her hospital records and ends the call. Later, Christian and Braxton talk for a bit. Eventually, they decide to go out for a drink. That night at a pub, a bartender approaches them, but Christian shows no interest. Braxton encourages him to be more open. Christian ends up dancing with her, and she gives him a hug, clearly impressed. However, one of her friends suddenly steps in and tries to attack Christian. Braxton quickly steps in, and together they knock out the aggressors and leave. Back in the car, Braxton notices Christian got the bartender's number and proudly teases him about it. Meanwhile, Medina visits the hospital where the unnamed woman had been treated. A doctor shows her video footage of Edith during her recovery. He explains that she was severely injured and lost all her memories. However, due to a rare medical condition, her brain restructured itself at an unusually fast rate. Her memory didn't fully return, and her personality changed drastically. The doctor explains that Edith's condition improved so rapidly that she eventually killed a security guard and disappeared. He then plays a clip showing how she used to respond with a simple whistle whenever asked about her past. At the same time, Justine and her team hack into the hospital system and copy Edith's medical records. Elsewhere, Braxton receives a contract to assassinate Medina. A short time later, Christian finds out that the contract has also been assigned to other killers and rushes to Medina's house. Meanwhile, Edith has already broken into Medina's home and begins searching for something. Medina tries to stop her, but she's no match. Edith stabs her, but on her way out, she sees a picture of her family. The image triggers a memory, and she suddenly remembers how Burke and others used her, and how she was taken. Moments later, Christian arrives. He tells Edith about her son, Alberto. Deeply affected, she leaves. Christian then tends to Medina, saving her life. Meanwhile, at Burke's hideout, he learns that someone has interfered with the contract. Angry, he orders the assassination of Medina. He then instructs Cobb to go to Juarez, Mexico, and kill Alberto, along with any other children he's with. Back with the brothers, Christian and Braxton prepare for the upcoming fight. They gear up with weapons, ready to strike. Meanwhile, Justine and her team hack into a drone and locate Cobb's position. She quickly relays the information to Christian and Braxton. As they move in, Braxton takes out several guards while Christian drives. Realizing the brothers are close, Cobb grabs Alberto and boards a bus, planning to kill him there. As they're leaving, Cobb spots Braxton and takes a shot, but fails to kill him. Moments later, Braxton recovers, eliminates the rest of the guards, and joins Christian. The brothers storm the area, engaging in a shootout. They manage to kill everyone, except Cobb. Inside the bus, Cobb holds Alberto at gunpoint and threatens to shoot. But Christian and Braxton act quickly and shoot Cobb down, saving Alberto and the other children. A short while later, Justine forces Batu to terminate the contract on Medina. She also shares Burke's location to Aeneas. Next day, Aeneas finds Burke and kills him. Back at the academy, everyone prepares to welcome Alberto, and it turns out he's like them. The end. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to watch full movie for best experience.